Grant Burge maintains a simple philosophy that all good wines begin in the vineyard. To manage the quality of the wines is to control the quality of the fruit.
You've got your 12 buds all on the wire fruiting and no fruit in the stone, which is...
Grant still finds time to enjoy the seasons of the vineyard.
It's a cyclical, you come along in the spring and it's a whole new life. It all starts, shooting here, as you can see, and grows up to maturity, produces a crop of grapes which we harvest, and then it all goes dormant again, and we prune them, and then the cycle starts again. So it's a real reminder of life, I think.
One of the oldest and largest independent vineyard owners in the Barossa Valley, the Burge vineyards are dotted the length and breadth of the region. Differing soil profiles, rainfalls, climatic conditions and aspects make the entire Barossa region a patchwork of microclimates. A mecca for viticulturalists and winemakers like Burge to harness these differences and make regionally distinctive wine styles. One of the Burge's newer properties, Corriton Park, sits high in the Eden Valley Ranges, a land of ancient gum trees, misty winter mornings and rolling green hills. The cooler climate, high rainfall and shallow stony soils have made Eden Valley one of Australia's most respected cool climate grape growing regions. At the other end of this vast climatic spectrum is the world famous Barossa Valley floor. During summer, temperatures down here can regularly reach 40 degrees. Many of the older vineyards are still dry grown, with roots diving deep down into the cooler alluvial soil. This is where Burge's gnarly old Shiraz, Grenache and Mourvedre vines have grown for over a century, making some of the finest dry red and fortified wines this country produces.
I convinced my mum and dad to help me buy a property which I established into a vineyard, and then that was back in the early 70s, and since then we've established and bought other vineyards to now I've got quite a network of vineyards here, which really support my whole philosophy of Grant Burge wines. The whole philosophy of Grant Burge wines has been to use my vineyards as the strength and the base to make a range of wines. Top winemakers these days, has to get 99.8% potential out of the berries, and we're not speculators. We are making wine from the same vineyards year in year out. So we've learnt really how to handle all those vineyards individually, and that's what we do. We keep it all separate, and we then get on the bench and blend it up in our own time. But the underlying strength is that we don't just buy grapes here willy-nilly from all different people all over the place. We have a very organised system of high-quality vineyards, which really gives us the strength to make a high-quality product year in, year out.
Every March, the Barossa's vineyards and winery cellars come to life with the buzz of vintage. Hand-picking, crushing and fermenting the new season's harvest, ready for the winemaking team to create another Barossa vintage. The grapes are harvested at the optimum ripeness and quickly taken to wineries for crushing and fermenting. Grant has done it all, from a young lad picking and crushing by basket press to today leading a large team of committed staff in his modern facility. Grant hasn't forgotten the important philosophies behind the winemaking process.
With winemaking, you're really the team leader, and in the sense of, actually physically making the wine, I guess, yes, you're the one who's saying do this, that and the other, but I mean, you're only ever as good as your weakest man or woman in the cellar. And not only do you have to technically know what you're doing and what you want people to do, you're actually a real motivator of people as well, and a good winemaker will be.
We'll finish now.
Yeah.
So we can...
I always say winemaking is an artistic science.
I might look at this one first.
Okay. I think that you certainly have to know the science and the chemistry of what's going on in winemaking, but I think you have to have a real flair. Colour on this one's black.
Well, this is
You must be very artistic when it comes to winemaking. You're not just making wine by some formula. You're actually really looking at what you've got and you're putting it together in a way that really is something quite creative. I think obviously that'll be the base. These two, to get the bouquet, we should have a look at these.
Grant Burge makes wines that let the fruit speak for itself. To take what the vineyard has provided, harness the true spirit of the vineyard, and excite his customers, over-delivering on quality.